All right, we are at the New England Cannabis Convention. We're at booth number 1233, right? 1233 is my booth, isn't it? Isn't that where I am right now? One thing I'm having a little issue with, guys, I need to see a clock. And that can be on my phone, that can be on a monitor. It just helps me pace the interview and know what's going on. Okay, everybody. By the way, this is the big difference between television and this is that we get to talk to each other without little earpieces, little IFPs.
Way to just throw me to the wolves in there, Jimmy.
See here, Nicole. I get to introduce Nicole Spiller.
I just pulled that question out of nowhere.
And you did. No, you know what? I knew I could put you on the spot. I feel like the teacher. I'm putting the prize pupil on the spot. Okay, ask a good question, and you did, Nicole.
I was like, okay.
Tell me what you're doing now. Tell people who you are, what you're doing now, because I think
that's a very, very broad statement.
I understand what I want to go ahead. Tell me all the different things.
Which is my camera?
Well, here's the thing. This camera here on the left, even though we have, okay. So this one over here, the right one. Go to the right one.
Okay.
Eye contact with the camera is so important, and Nicole learned that where?
Young Broadcasters of America.
I love this girl. I love her. It's awesome. Okay. So go ahead. Tell me a little bit what you're doing, because I know you just graduated college.
Yes, I graduated college in
What college?
I graduated from Westfield State in 2018 with a bachelor's degree in communications with a concentration in journalism. So I've been dabbling in broadcast journalism for quite some years now.
At least 10 that I know of.
Yeah, like about 10 years on and off camera, writing, producing, stand-ups, interviews like this, learning skills, and I've also been modeling and acting throughout the years on the side the whole time. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of at a point in my life where I have to figure out if I'm going to pursue that entertainment industry full-time or if I'm going to succumb to a 9-to-5 lifestyle. So
avoid the 9-to-5 lifestyle.
We're going to try and keep the creative energy coming full-time and avoid that 9-to-5 lifestyle as much as possible. But we'll see. This is the last year before I have to surrender to the normal style of a career.
But you're looking for work. I mean, you are a talent in so many aspects.
Definitely just freelancing in whatever I can do to be creative and create content. I'm also an influencer on Instagram, which can have a bad connotation, but...
Why? Whoa.
Being an influencer on Instagram, sometimes people will say, well, what are you influencing? What's your message? So that's a case-by-case basis on whether or not that's a positive influence or a negative influence. I like to think that I have a positive influence. I support mental health and body image, positivity, and woman empowerment. So those are the kind of things that I am sending out the message on my social media, but not necessarily everyone has that positive message on their social media. So that's why there can be a negative connotation with influencers in general. But I like to pride myself on having a good image and projecting that on my social media and encouraging other people to embrace their own positivity and woman empowerment and body acceptance and all of that good stuff.
And you know what's funny is that since I've known you for a long time, I know that that's been part of your makeup since I knew you. It's not something you're just doing because it's, fashionable.
It's
trendy. It's trending, right?
It's trendy to love yourself right now.
Right.
It is.
Well,
it's very
never been
trendy.
A problem for me now, has it?
No.
I think that's another thing.
You could be the spokesperson for the Love Yourself movement.
That's right. Well, you know what? I've had an amazing life. I am grateful for that life. We didn't mention you grew up in Medway.
I did. I grew up in Medway, Massachusetts.
I went to Medway High School.
Yes.
So I mean, you've been in Massachusetts.
Very small town girl.
Small town girl, just west of Boston, and. Wait, you didn't mention any of the shows that we might see Nicole Spiller on, because I know when I showed your picture recently to a ad agency, social media marketing group, I showed them hey, she's on MTV.
I did have a 1-year stint with MTV on a reality TV show. It's not my proudest moment, but
Whoa, hang on a second. I have never had a show on MTV. And I would be very proud of that if I could. All right, so
let's just say there's other accomplishments that are more notable than being a reality TV star. For me personally,
wait a second. There's somebody in the White House right now that is that as pathetic as that is. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
If that's your goal, then that's fine. And if that's your highest achievement in life, then
Good for you.
Good for you. Like I said, empowerment. If that's your goal, go for it. That's something that I dabbled in, probably won't revisit.
Yep.
But I'm glad that I had the experience. It made me grow as a person, a little bit stronger and more emotionally stronger. I think it was a really tolling experience mentally, physically on my body as well, that just like when I came off of the show, I had a little bit more of a different perspective on life and better insight into who I was as a person and what I wanted out of life.
God, so proud. Your parents did a great job with you. And I know
Thanks,
it wasn't
Mom
easy,
and
by
Dad.
the way. I just want to say it never is. It's the toughest job. Anyone who ever is a parent, they totally know that is the toughest job any of us have ever had.
I couldn't ask for better parents, honestly.
That's
like
nice.
my parents perfectly walked the line of parent who is going to reprimand you when you do something wrong and teach you right from wrong and instill good morals in you, and I'm your best friend and I'm going to be understanding if you do mess up, but I'm still going to be your parent. And that's a really hard line to walk.
Yes, it is. Well, you know, especially from age 13 to 23, Nicole Spiller, you went through quite a few different changes.
I wasn't a walk in the park, I'll say that.
Another thing we have in common, I think. I think this is great. The other thing that you're doing locally, I want you to talk a little bit about Performer TV.
Yes, so I work with Performer TV. I have on and off for about 3 or 4 years. It is a multimedia network. They have radio and TV broadcasts as well as live streaming like we're participating in right now. I do interviews. I do a calendar show called Boston's Best where I tell you what's going on in and around Boston that weekend and what you think that you could do to
Question.
get out of the house and have some fun.
Question. Have you started listing cannabis events?
I don't believe we have.
I'm going to be talking to Mike about that next week.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, so I'm
don't
doing,
quote me on it because
quote
I
it.
do.
We're live though. It's not. I can't really not help but quote you. Okay. Just
I
remember,
do-
it's a digital record of this.
I do about 4 weekends in one sitting.
Yep.
So we will do the hair and makeup, we will film, we will get all of that calendar show out for that weekend, and then we will go back into hair and makeup, change the hair and makeup, and film the next 4 weekends. Because it's hard to get me to sit down in a studio when I'm running around crazy like a chicken with my head cut off half the time because I'm just go, 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 that I can't guarantee that I'm going to be around every weekend to film these, so we like to just do them in advance. So I might have said something about the cannabis industry in the past and just not been able to recall it right now, but
That's okay. I'm having trouble recalling what I did last week, so don't worry about that. And again, one of the things that I've started to do is a weekly news video called News Dabs. And at the end of my little video, by the way, the News Dabs program will always be between 4 minutes and 20 seconds and 7 minutes and 10 seconds long. Those two numbers have some significance in the cannabis community. Do you know what they are, by the way?
what were the numbers again?
420 and 710.
Yes, so 420, April 20th is like the celebration of cannabis in general.
Yeah, it actually started with a bunch of guys. I think everything started in California with the cannabis world. And they would just hang
West
out and
Coast.
get high at 4:20 in the afternoon after school all the time. And then it became a thing.
Yeah, it's like a national thing now.
Right. And a lot of the, God, I see beers now that are 420. I think that there's a couple of bills that are actually in the before the legislature right now that are like 420 bills, they call them. And
Yeah, it
you know
definitely
710.
it definitely has the 420 though has definitely like trickled into marketing as well. Like
Yep.
if your product contains weed and you don't want to